Okay, here we go. Issue 78 now. So let's see what we're going to be doing. Looks like we've got a lot. So tools compartment that we're going to be building and the tools that go inside it. And the compartment door. And we're going to install that tool compartment. So let's crack on. We get this. Now this I pre-painted this morning, and I've gone through that on previous videos. We also get a compartment which is silver. We get all these bits and bobs. Interesting. So let's crack on. And start building. We're going to need some super glue. Just bear with me a second. And I'll use this plastic tray to use my super glue with. And we need to cut off from the sprue these little sections. So I'm just going to use dainty little scissors because they're at hand rather than hunt around for my sprue cutters. And let's crack on with the first section, which is this part here. As you can see, it's got 3 holes in it, ready for gluing. So let's get some glue spread. This is super glue that I'm using, and that's the super glue gel. And I get that from a shop that I can't remember. So that's useless. So I'm just going to snap the end off a cocktail stick. Use that to glue the parts in. Or we could just dip them in, I think. Might be easier. Don't want too much glue. That's the first one in. Second. Yeah, these don't. Okay, that's the first part of this done. Next part is get this gold section, and it's got a shape to it, I believe. Difficult to tell. Oh yeah, just about see it in. There's a little lip at the bottom. So we'll glue this one in. and that's looking like that. They do in the magazine, it seems to be closer at the ends. But that's that section. Then get one of these, and there are two of these. Yeah. And that will slot in just like that. And we get these screws have just got the thread on the end. Now I believe that's the right ones, but it's difficult to tell from the magazine. So the nut goes in one side. Yeah, so you use out of these two ends, you use the longer one for this one, put the nut in, and then nut falls out. But these screws are the ones, and I've double checked, I'm pretty damn sure they're right. They're the ones with just a thread at the end, not all the way down the screw. That's a little bit too tight. Yeah, you've got to have a little bit of movement. Still think that's a little bit tight, so I'll just release that a little, quarter of a turn, a bit more. Yeah, that feels better. Okay, so once we've got to that stage, we have to glue this in. Quick test fit, fits like that. Not too much glue. And that's that section done. So on to the next one, which is this metal bar, these other parts. This part I'll cut off with the sprue, something. So that looks like that. And then that then fits onto the shorter part of this, the shorter end of the rod. And again, it's a shaped end and socket. That looks like that. That then glues into the joint, like so. And then it's a case of using these nuts and bolts, or nuts and screws. And that's the shorter part of that. It slides between the two. Nut sits in there. Just move the scissors out. bear with me a second. There we go, and that's too tight, so we'll just loosen that off for the sec a bit. We want some movement on there. Okay, that's fine, that's working perfectly. Then we bring in the silver case, which I'm not sure if that's correct with R2, it's difficult to tell. I haven't seen a good reference, so assuming that's white on the real one, but we'll leave as is. And we'll need 2 self-tapping black screws. Just like that. And we'll get this laid out I've got in the magazine. And the way they've got it is that way up, but that is wrong. It is that way up. And that goes into the lower of the 2 square sections and is secured by self-tapping black screw. That's it. Oh, come on. I think this would be the easy part, wouldn't it? There we go. I'll just tighten that up off screen. That looks like that. And this one goes in the bottom. fold it up, it's easier to work with. And those sit like those in the container. So that's it for this section. This is the next section. So we get these two silver hinges and we got two 11mm screws. So we attach those to the hinges. That's that completed. So now we bring this section back in. And these just drop in. To the square holes. And they are secured with 6mm self-tappers. So back to the old screw box. Again, I'll just tighten these off screen. That looks like that. Looks a bit bent in the middle, as I've seen on other builds, but this section's bent, which is a shame. Anyway, that's definitely that way in. And there's more. I stupidly put this away. More self-tapping screws. Yeah, it's not looking brilliant. It's a bit warped to me. The door doesn't fit as brilliant as I thought it would. There are 3 screws that we had to screw it, 4, sorry. 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one there. Next, you get these L-shaped brackets, and they just fit over there, and they're secured down. I'm going to use the flange ones, just because I've recently found out that they're the ones we use for all the connectors, connecting brackets. So. different information across magazine, across the website. After a bit of investigation, that's the ones you've got to use, because if you didn't, you'd run out of the normal screws. And it makes sense to use these anyway. So those go on there, and then with these two brackets, you've got if you look at them, you've got a thin one and a thick one. Thin one goes at the top, thicker one goes down at the bottom. Got the arrows, and they've got to correspond with the arrows on the casing. So that one goes on there, and again with a flanged screw. And then this one, the triangle points away from the body. So that one, triangle pointing in, this one, triangle pointing out. Just to reiterate, and secure that on. So that one, I'll just tighten that off a little bit further off screen, and that's where we're up to on this build. So it looks like that from the front. You've got the door that slightly opens, and you've got these tools that come out, which look a bit cheap and plasticky, but they'll do. I won't do any upgrades on those. So there we go. The build was finished, and then I was just going on the website for referencing the actual screws, and I stupidly didn't double check on there, and there's been some mistakes made in this build. And the first one was joining these sections together. It's just 8mm screws, not the ones with the thread at the top. Those ones with just the thread at the top are used instead of the 11mm screws. Well, it says in the magazine, but it's not. It's those 8mm with just the thread at the top. They're used for the hinges. So I had to strip everything out, redo it all, get it back together with the correct screws. So anyway, that's the end of the build. And it's a shame that the magazine is completely wrong in those sections. But like I said before, always double check on the website for the correct screws. And on this video, you'll see all the overlays are the correct screws to use, not what is said earlier on in the video. Don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.